Hello to my friends in Poland. I wish I could be there in person. My name is Daniel Fisher, and I run the National Empowerment Center. And I'm going to talk to you today about recovery from severe psychiatric problems. And my probably most severe period was in my 20s. And what the lessons that I learned, I've carried on in my own life, and I've carried on to other people as well. So in my 20s, I had great distress. My marriage didn't work out. I started to lose faith in my work. I was a biochemist, ironically studying the chemical aspects of severe psychiatric problems, and I just felt like it didn't connect with me. It wasn't the kind of work I wanted to do. I didn't really like working in a laboratory that much. I wanted to be around people, but I didn't know what to do next. So I just stopped. I stopped all activity, and I went into a state of sort of suspended animation, which is called catatonia, not speaking, not eating. I certainly couldn't go to work. And so I was, my family didn't know what to do. They hospitalized me. And this happened on 3 different occasions. And my second time, I was in the hospital for almost 6 months. And during that period of time, the first month, I did not speak. And I remember feeling like there was no reason to speak. There was no reason for me to try to use words. But during that time, there was young men who worked in this Navy hospital, and they're called corpsmen. And unlike the clinical staff, the more clinical staff, they didn't try to figure me out. They didn't try to analyze me. They didn't try to fix me. They just were able to be with me and to allow me to re-experience the feeling that it was okay to be alive, that it was okay to be myself, because they were able to be themselves with me. And I owe them a debt of gratitude, I really do. The other patients also on the unit were very helpful. We helped each other. We used to play a song, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which was really gave a great deal of hope. And hope was very important, and we gave each other hope. And so the corpsmen gave me hope. A message I'd like to give is that relationships are the most important issue, most important component I've found in recovery. And finding people who believe in you, people who can give you hope, people who are themselves, people who are authentic, people who love you, people who you can love. These are crucial. Medication, it has a place. I'm not opposed to medication, but medication is only helpful to the degree to which it helps you to connect with other people, because ultimately your need, your goal is to build a sense of self, a sense that you really can make your decisions, that you can run your life, that you don't have to rely on other people to come up with, we'll do this or do that. You can make your own plans. This is agency or self-determination, empowerment. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about a couple of the relationships that were very important in addition to at the hospital. I had the good fortune of having a psychiatrist. His name was George, and he and his family were originally from the Ukraine, and I feel sometimes like my special bond that I feel with you all in Poland was founded as gratitude towards the 3 years that George spent helping me to put my life back together. Because he really did believe in me, and I'll give you an example of that. when I left the hospital a second time, I'd been given this diagnosis of schizophrenia, which can be a very dire projection of the future. But nonetheless, I had an idea that I wanted to become a psychiatrist and change the psychiatric system to make it more humane and use my own life experience to inform how I practiced in psychiatry. So I announced this to George. I went into my session and I was all excited about it, and I said, I'm going to become a psychiatrist. And this is just a week or two after getting discharged from psychiatric hospital with my diagnosis of schizophrenia. And I can imagine many psychiatrists or therapists might at that point go, there, you know, that's a lot to expect of yourself, and maybe just take a course. But George, he just didn't hesitate a beat. He said, I'll be at your graduation. And he did come to my graduation 6 years later. He always believed in me. He believed in my capacity to really achieve. My brother-in-law was another person who was very critical in that he didn't say a lot at times, very important times. And one time I was barely able to make it through the night. I don't know, I'd just have been discharged from the hospital, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep for days. I couldn't sleep. And this was, I was in medical school at the time. I was in great despair, thinking I'm going to drop out of this. It's not going to work. I'm not going to make it. And so I called up my brother-in-law. It was the middle of the night, and I said, I just need to talk. I'm panicking. And he started saying, he was so caring about it. He said, well, how's your uncle? And how's your mother doing? And I said to him, what's this all about? And then these questions you're asking. And he said, well, I read one time somebody's very upset. It's good to orient them, ground them. And he was so well-meaning about it. We generally don't encourage people to ask too many questions, but it worked because I knew he cared. I knew his heart was there. And he also, at one point, my heart rate was going like 140 a minute. I was just in a panic. I was sure I was going to die. I said, I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. My heart is going 140. And he was very quiet about it. And then he said, well, you know, when you're making love, your heart rate can go up to 140. I said, it's fine. And he said it so sort of cautiously and caringly, though. And then later, I told him about my plan of wanting to go to medical school and become a psychiatrist. And he said, you're capable. You can do it. And his confidence in me was so important. It was so valuable. And I miss him. He died just last year. He was 89. He just couldn't. He couldn't continue without working. He worked till he was 85. Marvelous guy. Then there's my wife, the wife-to-be, and then she became my wife, and Tish, she stood by me through some very difficult times. We'd been together about a year, and I went into this other reality again. I don't know, I just was feeling overwhelmed, maybe by success, by meeting someone so wonderful, by being in medical school. I don't know what the factors exactly were, but something triggered my going back into that state of catatonia, which was kind of healing. And she just stuck with me. And later I asked her, what motivated you to do that? How did you stay with me? You know, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia and this episode. She said, I never saw you as sick. I never saw you as sick. And she's always expected me to, you know, be able to do the dishes and do the laundry and provide, you know, my share of the support for our family. And I was able to feel from friendship with a peer Also, there's a peer that I met, personal lived experience, and we were in a peer support group together. And peer support is very important. People who've been through a similar experience. And she'd recovered enough to have 4 children and was raising them very well. And that gave me confidence that I could also raise children. Fast forward, I now mostly do is a training called emotional CPR, which is taking these principles that I learned through my own recovery and putting them into a training so that we can maybe improve anyone's capacity to connect on an emotional level, to connect on this feeling level, caring level. Because recovery is not just the work of clinical people or professional people. It's the work of everybody who is with anybody who's going through severe problems. And ultimately, it's everybody is, and especially during this pandemic, going through difficult times of isolation and powerlessness. So we need each other more than ever. We need each other during these times. And in this emotional CPR, we teach people that the C is for connecting, and connecting at a heart-to-heart level. Cersa do cersa, cersa do cersa. That's sort of our theme, is my heart reaching your heart, and your heart reaching my heart. And when we can connect in that fashion, we then start to feel that we can express ourselves, we can express our feelings, we can express our sense of being alive, our being. And that is our empowerment to have a voice, and then we feel alive, we feel revitalized, and that's, we feel really the goal of life is to feel that you are alive, to recognize the beauty of being alive. So I wish I could be alive right there with you all. This is the best that I can do. So good luck in your conference. Look forward to seeing you in person. Not too distant future. Thank you very much.